Respected Mr. Riyad Sambat sir and respected Mr. Justice P. Kalayarasan, the Honorable Ms. Justice Indira Banerjee is going to join later. The Honorable Mr. S. Raghavesa, Ministry of Law and Justice, and Mr. Durai Karunagaran has given a very nice speech regarding the judge's perspective. And Mr. Dr. N.S. Sandesh Kumar, the Vice Chancellor of Ambedkar Law University, and my esteemed friend, the Senior Advocate, Mr. R. Vidudalai, former Advocate General of Tamil Nadu, my friend Mr. D. Saravanan, Co-Chairman of the Bar Council of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, Madam V. Nalini, former President of the Women Lawyers Association, Professor Anand P. Misra, and Dr. M. Muthuelu, Madam Mr. A. Tyagarajan, Senior Advocate, and Madam Shantakumari, and many people have joined the virtual meeting. I wanted to appreciate Mr. V.R. Sampath organizing this program. In fact, this has to, physically we have to organize, they have spoken to me, but due to the heavy rain in Chennai, this has been, with the request of the other members, it has been organized in virtual. And before that, before I start my topic, just I wanted to bring the notice of Mr. V.R. Sampath. The Dr. Santosh Kumar has spoken about the legal education in Bar Council of India. So please kindly have it, this topic separately in one session, because why I am saying, in almost more than 18 judges of the Supreme Court and 23 judges of the High Court, Chief Justice of the High Court, as now leading the legal educations in national law schools and NLSAU and other law schools. So this is very most important, because I had been here past 10 years, since 2011 onwards I am there. I know what is the development when I had been there in the 2011 until 2021. There are a number of developments has been taken place in the legal education. Therefore, I request Mr. V.R. Sampath and have the separate meeting in this regard, conference. I will bring some of the judges of the Supreme Court and as well as the High Court Chief Justices. We'll have a more and more discussion. Our Central Law College Chairman, Mr. Saravanan also there, and Vidudalai also there. We are all the members of the Bar Councils. So we know you have then very importance in the legal profession. Now the role of the Bar Council of India. For the better administration, you are given this topic. Of course, it's a very odd topic for me, because at the outset, the role of the Bar Council of India for the administration of justice is one of the most debated topic, but however, a need of an hour. When we are dealing with this topic, I get reminded by the observation made by the Justice Mr. D.P. Wadhwa in the case of P.D. Gupta versus Ramamurthy and others. The observation which has been made, that I quote now, a lawyer has his duty to be fair, not only to his clients, but also the court as well as the opposite party of the case to be conducted. The administration of justice is stream, which has to be kept pure and clean. It has to be kept unpolluted. Administration of justice is not something concern the bench only. It concerns the bar as well. The bar is a principal ground for recruiting the judges. These observations, His Lordship Justice P.D. Wadhwa shows the necessity and importance of lawyers' role in the administration of justice, which ultimately leads to the Bar Council of India role in the administration of justice. It is true and essential for the pure administration of justice, and the bar and the bench must work cordially way to meet the ends of justice. And I wanted to quote the one judgments in Supreme Court in O.P. Sharma and others as the High Court of Punjab and Haryana, the Supreme Court has reiterated the role of lawyers in the administration of justice. It had been held that the lawyer cannot be a mere mouthpiece of his client. He is under obligations to uphold the rule of law and ensure that the judicial system functions to its full potential. A lawyer should be dignified in his dealing with the court. His fellow lawyers, the litigants, he should have the integrity and abundance and should never to do anything that erodes his credibility. He should faithfully abide by the standards of the profession, conduct, and etiquette, the prescribed by the Bar Council of India. He is an important social duty to perform as an officer of the court. And in the same line, the division bench of the Madras High Court, yes, Batma versus another, and the Chief Justice of High Court of Madras has rendered that an advocate as an officer of the court is bound to respect the court and maintain the dignity and decorum of the majesty. And number of cases when the scandalizing the court hostile the criticism of judges, then again the High Court of Nagpur in YYMY Sharif and another versus the honorable judges of the High Court of Nagpur, they are mentioned, just I wanted to quote it, they said very clearly, it cannot be denied that a section of bar is under an erroneous impression that when a counsel is acting in the interest of his clients or in accordance with the instructions, he is discharging his legitimate duty to his client, even when he signs an applications or pleading which contains the matter scandalizing the court. They think that when there is a conflict between their obligations to the court and their duty to the client later prevails, the misconduct has to be rooted by a clear emphatic and pronouncement, and we think it should be widely made known the counsel who sign an applications or the pleadings containing the matters scandalized in court without reasonable. So this has been made very clearly. And again, one more, the Vishram Singh and Raghavan Singh versus State of UP, and they have mentioned very clearly, the Honorable Apex Court has mentioned very clearly, and they say the dangerous trend of making false allegations against the judicial officer and humiliating them requires to be curbed with the heavy hands, otherwise the judicial system itself will collapse. The bench and the bar had to avoid unwarranted situations on the tribal issues. The hamper of cost justice or in the interest of the none, the liberty of freedom of expression, freedom of speech is not to be confounded or confused with the license to make unfounded allegations against any institution, much less the judiciary. A lawyer cannot be a mere mouthpiece, that has been mentioned there. So what I have been trying to say, in the many number of cases we have been seeing each and every day, we are boycotting the court sometimes. As far as the Bar Council of India issuing direction time to time and suspending the many number of lawyers throughout the country, even then they are thinking that we have hold in a democratic system. Of course, we are all members elected the bar is in a democratic manner. Once the democratic elected, they think the voice of democracy is to uphold, of course. But at the same time, the intention of the legislature, for a minute, we must look into the intention of the legislature to ultimately answers and topic of here has been put forth today. The legislature has clearly made it that the proper administration of justice, it is essentially to regulate lawyers who are one of the pillars of the administration of justice. For that, the parliament thought that it would be appropriate to form a regulatory body which regulates, take a disciplinary action and such standards which will pave the way proper administration of justice, and that leads the formation of the Bar Council of India and its state bar councils. By looking into the past, we are able to find out the reasons and material to show the Bar Council of India and the state bar councils, as well as the lawyers coordinate for proper administration of justice, the Bar Council of India's role in the administration of justice, ultimately core objective of the Bar Council of India, because the Bar Council of India is a regulatory body that regulates the lawyers who are the essential administration of justice. And it is a very clear, it's a BCIs and professional standards. Advocates, in addition to be professionals, also officers of the court to play a vital role administration of justice. Accordingly, the BCI has sets rules that govern by the advocate's professional conduct. When it goes against the duty which they needed to perform as an officer of the court, at the instance, I get myself reminded about the words of the Honorable Justice Vadwa once again, where he observed actually judges and lawyers are complemented each other. And primary duty of a lawyer is to inform the court as well as the facts to arrive at the correct conclusions. This ultimately shows that the lawyer or the officers of the court who are the essential administration of justice, and the BCI, Bar Council of India, which regulates them, are an essential and playing the vital role for the administration of justice. While discussing about the topic, I get remembered about an incident which happened a month back in the Punjab and Haryana court. There was a standoff between the lawyers and the High Court administrations pertaining to certain issues of the bar and the bench. The Bar Council of India intervened and resolved standoff which ultimately lead to a proper administration of justice. The Bar Council, with its scholar, I can say that each and every day it works together with the Honorable Court for the better judicial administration, and by ensuring a cordial relationship is maintained between bar and the bench. It is true that in certain instances of the Bar Council is pulled to take the disciplinary actions against the erring advocates with the proper administration of justice, and the lawyers are also integral and the elements essential for the justice system. And when issues arises because of a conduct lawyer, that ultimately causes a disaster to the administration of justice. The Bar Council steps in to curb any misfeasance and to meet the ends of justice. To conduct, I just remembered the lawyers that as a member of the legal fraternity, he is not only representing their clients, however, more than that, is an officer of the court, the legal system, and as a citizen needs to have the social responsibility for upholding the quality of justice. As an advisor, a lawyer must act on an officer of the court and bring in all necessary wisdom towards the factual aspects and as well as the law before the court and proper administration of justice, and to conduct and should confirm that the requirement of the both in professional manner as well as in personal life. The Bar Council of India is willing to play a vital role to facilitate the processing and doing the needful for finding a solution to the issues of judicial administration. And as regards administration of justice is concerned, the Bar Council of India will continue to do its best to ensure that the legal fraternity embodies of the role of the officer of a court to the best of its ability. Even during the worst time of, especially during the COVID-19, the pandemic, which was unprecedented, the situation to the Indian judiciary, it was only because of the cordial relationship between the bar and bench. Administration of justice was not stalled at any moment during the pandemic period. Therefore, as a lawyer, we should devote the professional time and resource to improve, and it is our essential duty to assist the court for administration, and with ultimately that will help to uphold the intentions of the legislature, which ultimately lead to the creation of the Bar Council of India. I thank Mr. V.R. Sampath. Really, you organized very extremely good program. This, it is useful to the entire legal fraternity in the country. And I request you, please kindly organize this type of programs at least every 3 months once. We are almost, myself and Mr. Vidudalai and the Central Law College Chairman, Mr. Saravanan, we are all always cooperate with you and will take into confidence and will, whatever the help you required, we will do it. Thank you very much. And I thanks all the persons. Thank you and all.